welcome back. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate. Thanks for joining us. This is the Week 9 show. As you can see behind us, we are not in the shed, huh, guys?
No, we're not. Brad shed.
yes. We are at one of the old stomping grounds of both these Thorpers, Coach John Cooper and Coach Brad Hurley. We are here at the Jim Thorpe American Legion Post 304. We've been a little sporadic the last couple weeks, so we're trying to make it up to you tonight.
Yeah.
We're going on location.
Yep.
And we got a big interview coming up as well.
Yes, we do. Coach Rosenberger is going to join us. He's going to talk about, in segment 2, he's going to talk about his time playing for the Tide. He's going to talk about his Olympians now going up to face the Tide. So it'll be a real fun interview coming up in segment 2.
Yeah, it's an awesome atmosphere right now in Jim Thorpe, coming off a huge win against Rivalry Heighton and a huge win for the, against Tamaqua, and a huge win for league purposes and also for district playoff standings. So they got a big game ahead against Pottsville. And Coach Rosenberger is one of Pottsville's own, class of 1990, so we're going to bring him on, and he's going to talk a little bit about the game and the season, so we're looking forward to that. So why don't we get right into the Week 8 review. First, Schuylkill Haven and Panther Valley. Schuylkill Haven keeps it rolling. Panthers struck early, kept it close for the first quarter, and then the rushing game of the Hurricanes just took over, and they win this one 61-7.
Yeah, I was actually at Lee Heighton last weekend doing the game for radio, and I got a text from our buddy Keith Goldwell, said Panthers up 7-0 after the first quarter, and obviously I was excited about it, and didn't know how it happened. I later learned that Schuylkill Haven had issues hanging on to the football in the first quarter, but they obviously got their composure and then were able to score on every possession and the rest of the game, eventually wearing down Panther Valley than do anybody else. So. As expected, Schuylkill Haven rolled, but Panthers hung tough for a while.
Yeah, Schuylkill Haven 376 yards rushing, and the guys have been there all year. Mike Callion, Daniel Lozada, Preston Garing had 2 touchdowns apiece. Haven rolls, looking like they're going to make some serious waves in that, AA, District 11, and in the States when it gets to state postseason as well.
Yeah, that's an impressive triple-headed monster with those 3 running backs, and it's tough to contain that ground game. You know it's coming, but there's not much a lot of the teams can do about
it.
They run it so well. They're big. They're strong. They're kids that Coach Davis pointed out. They got kids that are working hard year round. Mm-hmm. They're in the weight room, and it shows. It shows on the field. So congrats to Haven. They beat the Panthers 61-7. Next, moving on, Minersville, Monoy area. Big game for District 11 2A playoff standings between both of these squads, and the Miners come on top. They pull out a 10-7 win over the Golden Bears.
Yeah, big play, and this one was when Gabriel Keene's interception of Matt Lewandowski in the final minute of this game sealed it for the Miners, and huge win going forward for them. They were struggling a little bit this year, and that was kind of a pick-me-up game for them. Now they're going in to face Panther Valley this week, but hey, we liked Minersville in the beginning of the year. We said we thought they were going to make some strides, and a game like this, could get them right back in the mix there in that District 11 AA postseason field.
Sure can, and for the Golden Bears, it looked like turnovers really hurt them Friday night. Cool.
Yeah, 4 turnovers on the evening, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, and that'll do it. No matter who you're playing, if you're turning the ball over 4 times, especially in a low-scoring defensive game, and I guess there was a field goal in there somewhere. I don't think it was a touchdown to safety. So someone from Minersville kicked a huge field goal. We don't have the name, unfortunately, but they did what they had to do. I think you and I both thought last week that they could get a win against Mono area.
Yeah.
And one of the few ones we got right, I think, last week. But that we did get, and good job by the Miners.
Okay, next, moving on, Marion Colts and the Shenandoah Valley Blue Devils. Marion hit the board early and often, and they roll to a 56-14 win over Shenandoah. Marion QB, interesting stat line here, Hurls.
Yeah, 3 for 3, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's like an old.
That's pretty efficient.
When the NCAA was cool and they had NCAA football, if you had Mike Vick and Virginia Tech, that might be your stat line because you had 300 yards rushing and maybe a couple of long passes. But big time. Kaczynski's been really solid for them all year.
Yes.
He's been their leader, and we knew once they got a Division II play that he would stand out. Probably out of all the quarterbacks in that division. He's really been stepping it up, and Marion, we expect them to come out on top. They're rolling now. We've talked many times about how we think they're going to go deep in the postseason. So, just at home and got a big W.
Yeah, not much more to add there. Marion just taking care of business, and offense just rolling all night long.
Okay, big Division I showdown between the Jim Thorpe Olympians and the Tamaqua Blue Raiders. Jim Thorpe comes out with a huge 26-18 victory over the Tamaqua Blue Raiders. So, Earl, this one is huge, not just for the leagues, but also for districts.
Yeah, this was kind of the game that we thought that we always said, we said that in the beginning of the year, that we thought North Schuylkill, Tamaqua, Jim Thorpe, Lehighton were all kind of lumped together, and we kind of put Blue Mountain and Pottsville up there. I mean, it's kind of worked out that way so far, but we've seen that those teams have really challenged those other two top echelon teams. But I think the difference was this week, we saw Brendan Carroll, Jim Thorpe's first-year quarterback, senior, just came out this year, get better every week, but he had his breakout game this week. 152 yards, 3 touchdowns. And the Jim Thorpe defense was huge. The Red Swarm held Tamaqua, who's been running the football on anybody, even when they lose, to just 106 yards rushing. So I think that was key. They played really well. They bounced back after the disappointing loss in North Schuylkill, and now they're 5-3. They put themselves in the number 5 spot now in districts. And they got some momentum now heading into that Pottsville game.
Yes, they do. And another big game, Sean O'Toole, another big game for Thorpe as well as the other guys.
Yeah, you're always looking for those playmakers. Justin St. Hill also has a nice game, but you're also looking for those other guys, those other playmakers. And the guy who I haven't mentioned yet a lot this year, but had a big game this night, Sean O'Toole, 140 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. So when they needed big pass plays, the Brendan Carroll, Sean O'Toole was there all night. And like I said, though, the thing that jumped out at me was the job the Jim Thorpe defense did against that Tamaqua running game, who looked so impressive the week before against Lehighton.
Okay, moving on. We have another big game with the Blue Mountain Eagles and the North Schuylkill Spartans. Blue Mountain comes on top of this one, 16-7. Both of these teams been a bit up and down, a bit inconsistent. Kind of a little hard to get a read on either one of these.
Yeah, Brad and I were talking earlier, and it's like just when you kind of think you get something figured out in Division I, the Schuylkill League. It looked like North Schuylkill was rolling. It looked like Blue Mountain was kind of sputtering a little bit, and then there's a role reversal. And as soon as you start to write somebody off, like we thought Jim Thorpe was tailing off and Tamaqua was emerging, and then they have a reversal. So it's great for high school football. It's great for us because it gives us something new every week. But these games are really, really getting hard to predict, and you just don't know who's going to come out on top. But the Blue Mountain defense showed up, holding North Schuylkill just 56 rushing yards, only 160 yards of total offense. And if you can do that on a weekly basis, you're going to win games.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, North Schuylkill had such an impressive performance against Jim Thorpe up front, who was playing so great defensively up front. And they just dominated that game up front. Blue Mountain came into that game. Like Coop said, they were kind of struggling up front a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't, getting totally dominated, but it didn't seem like they were really pushing people around like they used to.
Right.
Only a 17-14 win over Jim Thorpe 2 weeks before that. So, I mean, it just came down to I really like the job that Coach Mabry always does. It feels like going in that they just have a distinct advantage somewhere. Like, no matter what. They got the athletes, we know that. They had Kerstetter, Division I guy. We know they got players. But they came in and they won that battle up front. I mean, when you're held out just 56 yards rushing from that North Schuylkill rushing attack, that's impressive.
Yeah, because they got some players.
Yeah. So you got to give it to Blue Mountain. You can't count them out. And Coop and I were just saying, I mean, it's a shame that they might win out and not make playoffs, which is a shame. And that's something we thought that this whole process was supposed to fix. Right. Maybe that's a conversation for another time. Yeah. But they could be 8-2 and not get in, and that's a shame.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy when you look at how many teams are qualifying for district these days. 32, I believe, of 46. Or,
I think it's
I mean, you're talking a vast majority of teams are going to be making. And to imagine an 8-2 Blue Mountain team
that could be probably
it's hard
25, 26, 27, 28 of those teams that are going to qualify not getting in. It's a shame.
But still a lot of football to be played, so we'll see how that shakes out. Our last game of Week 8 is the Pottsville Tide traveling to Lehighton. Have you guys been to the new stadium yet?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Last week was my first time.
Last week was the first time. I haven't got a chance to see it yet. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
It's nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Pottsville gets a big road win over the Indians, 35-20.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of doing this game along with John Sierfoss, who filled in for Whitey Williams. So give John a shout out and thanks for doing the game with us. But like you said, first and foremost, beautiful new facility. Kyle Spott's very hospitable, as always, the Hayden athletic director. And once they got to playing football, it was what we expected, a good football game. Some early scoring going both ways, and Lehighton's first possession, some tough calls they had to deal with, and their first possession kind of was a wasted one, more due to, I thought, was some questionable calls more than Lehighton's performance. But after that, they kind of got their feet under them, went back and forth for a little while, but just too much of Pottsville's offense, too many playmakers. Ian Renninger had a great night from his tight end position. Lipinski played a great game as a quarterback. Darian Jacoby was down with an injury in the first half, which we thought would be a major issue. Ian Moran just came out and he had a 100-yard game for himself. So there's weapons all over that Pottsville offense, and Lehighton just couldn't muster up enough defensive stops to get back into it. And Pottsville ends up, I don't call it an easy win, but a comfortable win down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it's come to fruition now that Lehighton's lost some pretty important guys. And that's starting to take effect. I mean, I don't think that people realized how young Lehighton really was. And they came out and they were playing so well.
Right.
They lost. I mean, I think that Schuylkill Haven game really kind of defined their season.
Yeah.
They win that game, we could be talking about a whole nother different Lehighton team right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
But they lost that one, tough one, and let Schuylkill Haven come back and win. And this is kind of sometimes what happens with a young team. You're not able to bounce back. Still a lot of talent. I think it's good. Coach McCarroll always does a great job, but right now Lehighton looks like the team right now in Division I that's kind of maybe taking that step back from everybody else.
Which means they're going to play Austin this Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to win by 20 points.
All right, some hard cold performers from Week 8. Hurls, who you got?
I got Eric Lipinski, 11 of 16 for a season high 223 yards, hitting his big target. Ian Renninger all night long. The big man, the big tight end.
He's tough to stop. He's tough to
the Gronk out
the Gronk in the Schuylkill
out of
League.
the Schuylkill League. So my hardcore player Eric Lipinski, only 13 touchdowns and 1 interception this year. I called him Mr. Efficient in my Times News capsule for this week. So
well done, Hurls.
that's my hardcore player this week.
Well done. Cooper, you got?
I'm going to go with the combo. I'm going to go with Brendan Carroll and Sean O'Toole. We mentioned them earlier. They had a huge night in a must-win game for them. Were able to beat the Tamaqua secondary, and like I said, 140 receiving yards for O'Toole, 152 yards for Carroll, 3 touchdowns, all of O'Toole. So they're my combo: Brendan Carroll and Sean O'Toole.
Awesome. I think I'll go combo as well. Why not?
Why not?
I'm going to go combo a little off the radar. It's nice to see some guys stepping up that we haven't had the chance to talk about a whole lot this year. Ian Moran coming in, filling in for Jacoby at Pottsville, rushing for over 1,000 yards in their big win. And also, speaking of big wins, Gabriel Keene's interception sealing the deal for the Miners. So I'm going to go with Gabriel Keene and Ian Moran for my hard cold players for Week 8. So what we're going to do right now, we want to get to the Coach Rosenberger interview. So we're just going to zip through this Week 9 schedule and look at the slate and go through our picks for Week 9. Things are really getting tight now, going into the last 2 weeks, both for the Division I championship. Obviously, Division II Haven has a stranglehold on that right now, but also the district rankings. We're going to talk more about the district rankings next week and kind of fill you guys in on where things stand at that point. We went over them 2 weeks ago, so after a couple weeks, if things shake up at all, we want to make sure we point that out. So, Division II, we'll start with Marion traveling to Minersville. Herb, what do you think?
I like the Colts. I think they're playing well. I think Minersville gives them a little bit of a scare, though. I like the physicality. I like the way they're playing. I like Steele Fiquette. I like Keandre Taylor. I like Aaron Beach. I like the way they play the game. But first of all, I think we all want to talk about it. Marion's playing with heavy hearts this week.
Yeah.
Ross assistant coach Kenny Snur, also a Jim Thorpe native. Horrible thing. Died suddenly. Only 49 years old. Also a state trooper. Did so many things for his community. Did so many things for Marion Catholic. Did so many things for the kids there.
Yeah.
And his son KJ Snare, who we talked about for years in this show. Those are something you never want to see. It's tragic things. So my thoughts and prayers are with his family, definitely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Something like that happens. The game's definitely secondary to to those events, and our condolences go out to the Snur family and to the Colt family and to the Jim Thorpe community.
Yeah.
All right, next on Coop, your pick.
I'll also go with Marion. I think Marion just has too much, same with Brett. I think it's a game for a little bit, but too much Marion down the stretch. Marion wins.
I agree. I got to go with the Colts. Next, Panther Valley at Monterey. Another big game for District 11 AA playoffs. Both teams' season could be on the line in this game. So, Hurls, what do you think?
I like PV. I think they're going to come out, and I was talking to Coach Davis earlier today. He said that they have to get out to a lead because we've been playing from behind too much. He goes, we've really been stressing our kids. Let's get out to a hot, fast start. And I like the Panthers this week. I like them to step it up. I like them to get into the District 11 AA playoffs this year. And this is a win that they have to get. So I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Surprised me, but I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Panther Valley also. I think Panther Valley will also get in there and get the job done. I think they're, I think they have a lot of guys playing for a lot of the right reasons now. I mean, if we're pretty close to the program, and I think it's time. I think they're going to get a big win, and hopefully back it up with another one next week.
I gotta agree. I'm looking this week for a big game from Danny Gilbert.
Yes.
He's a senior, and he's one of the kids who has put his heart and soul into that program.
Yep.
And you know that he's going to be one of the guys out there leading them the last 2 weeks to try to get that playoff spot. So I'm going to agree with you guys. Next, we're going to go with Schuylkill Haven hosting Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah, I mean, Schuylkill Haven all the way by the end of the first half, I think. Shenandoah just hurting, not enough guys, not enough playmakers. Haven's got them all. Haven in a rout.
It should be another easy night for the Hurricanes, which kind of might be a little worrisome down the stretch that you've had 3 or 4 non-competitive games, because next week you have Blue Mountain, then you get ready for playoffs. So we'll see if it comes back to haunt them or not, but right now they're rolling, so Schuylkill Haven.
Okay, and I got to agree, but I am going to say hats off to those Shenandoah kids that are sticking this out, playing hard every week, not quitting. It's certainly not for lack of effort.
Absolutely.
Numbers in depth are really hurting them right now. Kudos to Coach Blinsky and to the Shenandoah crew that's there, playing their tails off every week. It does not go unnoticed. Next, Division 1. We got some big games in Division 1 this week.
Every week.
Every week, yeah. Every week. Wow. Let's look at this. Take your pick. All right. So, Blue Mountain at Lehighton. I think Lehighton season's on the line right here.
Lehighton season on the line?
Yes. I think they got to get some momentum going.
Well, guess what, Pat?
What? What?
No momentum's going to be coming out of this one. The Eagles might not be soaring in the NFC East right now, but they're soaring in Rosenberger, PA. I like Blue Mountain. Big win last week. I think they're really going to start to build on it. They got their quarterback back now. I think they're going to start getting that. They know that it's, hey, we got to win these games to even have a chance of getting in districts. I think they're really focused on that. I like the Eagles.
Well, just because of the way things have been going. And every time we think we have something figured out, we get thrown a curveball. So we're going to throw our own curveball out there, and I'm going to say...
No, you're going to throw your own.
I'll throw my own curveball out there. And
Yours.
Say Lehighton will get a W this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so on the fence about this one.
See,
I am. I've been going back and forth. I think Lehighton has another big win left in them. I really do it. And, you look at the next 2 weeks, and they have 2 very tough opponents in Blue Mountain and then Jim Thorpe. And I do think, in order for them to move on and, have a shot, they got to get one of those. They got to get one of those, and I don't know why, but I got a feeling it's this week.
Wow.
I really do.
Are you sure you're not from Lehighton, both of you?
Yeah. And there's...
I always get busted by my Jim Thorpe guys in Lehighton.
And if you're from Blue Mountain, you should bust us, because there's no reason to make that pick. Nothing except a gut feeling. Nothing except a gut feeling.
A gut feeling, a little bit of history on this season of things just not...
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
When we leave something figured out, we don't. So.
Yep. So there you have it. Next.
So you're only Lehighton with me.
I'm going Lehighton.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Next, North Schuylkill at Tamaqua.
Man, this is, come on. It's like, I'm going to go with my point guard when I coached the 7th grade Raiders, Thad Zuber, and that Raider offense. I think they're going to bounce back. They had a tough one last week. I like Boyle. I like Briner. I don't know. Like you guys said, I have a gut feeling with the Raiders. They're tough at home. They're really tough to beat at home. And they're just both smash mouth teams. But I like that added element of Zuber and Titus going down the seam. I like the Raiders this week.
Yeah, it does give them an added element that they haven't always had. They've ran the ball very well the last few years, but you're right. Zuber's really matured, and Titus is a monster.
And Wassel as well.
Yes.
Wassel as well.
Yeah, and I think and Casey Rothler's developing a playmaker on the outside too. So I get to call this game this week. I'm excited for it. I haven't seen North Schuylkill play live yet this year, so I'm excited to do the game. But I have seen Tamaqua a lot, and I just know Sammy Bonner's kids, and I know when they lose, they're even extra tough the following week. And I think they'll come back with with a strong performance, and I'm going to go Tamako squeaking one out at home. Close game.
I agree. I think the Blue Raiders, I think those first two we talked about will be squeakers, and I got the home team in both of them, so I'm going to go with the Raiders as well. Next, we got our game of the week, which we're going to talk more about in our next segment. Coach Rosenberger is going to be joining us. The Olympians of Jim Thorpe heading up to Pottsville to play the Crimson Tide. Woo! This is going to be a big one.
People that pay attention to this show know that we did our bold predictions. I think it was like week 2.
Yes.
Week 2 or week 3.
It was a little. No, I think it was a little more recent than that.
Week 3 and 4.
About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So my bold prediction was that the Olympians, the home of Coach Rosenberger, is Pottsville. That's where he played, where he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
I said they were going to go up there and avenge that 2004 District 11 AAA championship. So what kind of a guy would I be if I didn't stick with my bold prediction?
Yep.
So I have the Olympians going up to Pottsville, up to Veterans Stadium, taking care of business, shocking the world,
Shocking the league.
mixing up the league big time then.
That would shake it up.
That would. Defeating the Tide. To give some big momentum heading to that Route 209 trophy game with the Indians.
Give us a score. What are you thinking about?
I'm going to say Jim Thorpe 28, Pottsville 24.
What do you got, Coop?
I just think Pottsville has too many weapons. I think Renninger's just too much of a matchup problem. Even if Jacoby doesn't play, he had an injury last week. Even if he doesn't play, Moran showed that he's very capable of running the football. Lipinski's playing out of his mind football, taking care of the football, which is so important. And I think for Jim Thorpe to win, they're going to need to force turnovers and do that kind of thing, do those kind of things. And I don't think the Pottsville offense is going to allow them the opportunity. So I'm going to go Pottsville to win this one. And I apologize to Coach Rosenberger.
What about your bold prediction?
My bold prediction was stifled. My prediction a few weeks ago was that Schuylkill would throw 4 straight shutouts leading up to their game with Blue Mountain Week 10. And Coach Davis's Panthers, with the 7 points they put on in the first quarter last week, ruined my bold prediction. So we'll see if Schuylkill will be back with another shutout to get 3 out of 4. But
real quick
they
though, don't forget, Mr. Antonio Madero is back at safety for the Olympians.
That is true.
He's a ball hawk back there.
Good to hear he's back.
He's a ball hawk.
But he's not 6'6".
He can lay the wood. He can come up to Renninger's hip.
Believe me, I always root for the red, white, and blue because I'm an alumni, and I hope they make all the plays and prove me wrong. But I am impressed with this.
No, I know.
Yep.
Well, my bold prediction was that the second half of the season would kind of be flipped for 2 teams.
Yeah.
And that's Monterey and Jim Thorpe. Both of them got out to pretty fast starts, and I took a look at their schedule for the second half of the year and saw that it was going to be a big step up in competition for both teams.
Right.
So I'm kind of going to stick with that right now, and it's not because of anything that those teams did wrong. I just think looking at the teams that they were going to be playing, it was going to be a tough road ahead for those guys. So with that being said, I do think Pottsville comes out on top of this one and wins our game of the week over the Jim Thorpe Olympians. So that is our Week 9 show. Hurls, any closing thoughts?
That's it. I'm excited. The trio's back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
2 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It feels good.
We're all the same. We're all on the same page. We're on site. We're
Yeah.
back.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah.
We get everyone
Definitely.
Cool.
No, closing thoughts. If you're going out this Friday as a fan to go watch high school football, go for all the right reasons. Be positive. Support the kids you're there to see. And just leave all the other stuff out of it. These kids are playing as hard as they can. They don't need to be criticized. These coaches are coaching their guts out. They don't need to be criticized. So, go watch football for all the right reasons this Friday night. Enjoy the games, cheer your kids on, and, be positive.
Well done, Coop.
Thanks.
And from us, I just want to say, like I said, we've been a little inconsistent. It certainly hasn't been for lack of effort. We're going to do our best to keep on top of things the last couple of weeks and keep you guys and gals that have been watching informed. So once again, thanks for joining us. It's great to be back. We're looking to be back next week. This is TNT, Coal Region Football's Thursday Night Tailgate.
Last week I had some work stuff I had to do, but we're at week 9 of the Coal Region Football Thursday Night Tailgate. We're doing our segment 2 here with Coach Rosenberger from the Jim Thorpe Olympians. The Olympians going into Pottsville this week. Huge game. Our game of the week, as you saw in our segment 1. And for Coach Rosenberger, he's going back home a little bit. He's from Pottsville. It's where he went to school. So he's taking his team up there for the first time since 2004 when the Olympians went up there and lost a heartbreaker in the district championship. So, Coach Rosenberger, you excited about going home this week?
Absolutely. It's always nice to go back home and back with a family where I grew up at, and a lot of great memories at Pottsville High School myself personally, and looking forward to it. Not only for that reason, but because it's going to be a great football game. 5-3, 7-1. I think our players are having a great week of practice. A lot of energy and excitement around the program right now, so looking forward to a big challenge.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. I mean, we didn't really know we were going to get here coming into first year of Division I, and already you're seeing a lot of parity in that Division I. Those big games every week. You had a big game last week against Tamaqua, big game this week. It just seems like you're going to start to develop some new rivalries with some teams like Blue Mountain and Pottsville, that every year it seems like the records are always really close and you're playing for a lot. So talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. You mentioned the word parity. It's evident. Us and Blue Mountain, very close game. Blue Mountain, Tamaqua tight game. So the new teams coming in, the Blue Mountains, the possibly Heightons, are playing very close games with the teams that were here. So it's exciting. If you're a fan in the Cole region and watch Cole region football all the time with you, Brad, and other guys, you'd be excited about any night you can go see an outstanding football game on a Friday night. So you couldn't ask for more as a fan or as a coach and the players.
Delving back into the Pottsville history, just give us a little background on your, obviously football your whole life. You got into coaching right away. Talk about when you played there, what position you played, maybe some favorite memories from playing.
Try to date me right now.
Just 2010. Just a little bit. So talk about that a little bit.
Sure. I graduated in 1990 under Coach Keating, who was an outstanding coach. Pottsville football tradition is outstanding. Back from Coach Flynn, Coach Keating, Coach McGough is doing a great job right now with the program. It's been a standout in the Cole region for years. My brothers played in the program, myself. Have the most respect for Pottsville football and what they do and what it's done for players and for kids. I learned so many of my values that I use as coaching from playing there at Pottsville under Coach Keating, and Coach Toomey, who's my D coordinator back in '90, is the D coordinator now,
wow.
And also as a basketball coach, and what they had success there as well.
Yeah.
So I know what they are all about. So I know that we're up against a great task because of the discipline that they teach and the structure defensively that Coach Toomey puts out there. That I've been through it, so I understand what it's about. So I know it's going to be a tough task for us this week, but we're excited about the challenge.
The last thing, just about Pottsville, have you been getting any texts, any calls from your buddies this week leading into the game?
As I walked in the door a few minutes ago, I got one from one of my best friend, my best man in the wedding. Wishing me good luck. I won't say his name because Pottsville fans might get upset. Definitely. And the nice part about it is, from my perspective as well, a lot of my buddies and friends that I grew up with, they now have children and live in the Pottsville area and they're playing. You have Holobitzes, DeCello, Messina, some of my best friends. Their kids are now playing. So, when Pottsville's going again right now, thankfully I'm happy to see them winning again. Hopefully not Friday night against us, but because you see the players who I played with, as parents now, and they know what it takes to be successful. And they're really pushing their children, I'm sure, to work in the weight room, to do the off-season things, and listen to coaches explain to them what you got to do. So, I'm very happy Pottsville's rolling again, but just hopefully they don't roll tomorrow night.
All right, after the trip down memory lane, now let's delve into the game a little bit. First thing I want to bring up, and it might be a surprise to many people because they didn't hear this name until this season, but Brendan Carroll, first-year starter, first-year player, actually since, back in his knee-high days, comes in, and I'll tell you what, the kid's gotten better every week for you, but last week he really came out and made some big-time plays to win you that ball game. Talk about the way he's improved this season, the way he's progressing, and talk about kind of what he brings to the table for you.
Well, he started the season as an athlete playing quarterback. Right now, he's a dual threat athlete playing quarterback. Now not only he can run the ball, which he did very well early on, now he can throw the ball very well as well. You saw that last week against Tamaqua, some outstanding throws for us, made some pinpoint accuracy for our receivers to make the catches. So he's really progressed, learning the read progression for each individual play that we have. So the sky's the limit over the next couple of weeks in the season because he keeps on getting better. So we're excited about where he's going. Unfortunately, he's a senior. Nick, I think, will step in next year and do a fine job. He had some good experience this year for us as well. But Brendan has really progressed throughout the course of the year. We're excited about what he's going to do in the last couple of games and hopefully into the playoffs for us.
Every week, game planning defensively. Coach Brambo has his work cut out for him. Since you got into Division I play. But this week, a little extra effort needed. Eric Lipinski, Darian Jacoby, Ian Reniger, probably the 3 best, individual maybe at their position playing right now in the league. Lipinski, 13 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Jacoby, he's quick, fast, and you got Reniger, obviously a physical tight end. Talk about some things that you're trying to do to maybe stop them this week.
You missed Kleckner and Merhan as well.
Yes, stepped in? Yeah, who stepped in for Jacoby and had 100 yards last
Merhan's
week.
a fullback and he runs the ball well.
Yeah.
The guard trap scares me, and the quick dive to him scares me. If you go, I don't know what the health status of their players are, but obviously they have athletes all over the field. And on top of that, they're very good up front. They're not overly big, but they're very physical. They get off the ball very well. Typical, possible team.
Yeah.
We're all small. When I play, they're still not. They're not the 6'5", 280-pound guys.
Gotcha.
You're going to see that, but they are physical and aggressive up front. They get off the ball well, but you got to worry about 3 guys like you mentioned, besides the rest of them. But the 3 guys that come up to you right away is Lipinski. The thing about Lipinski is he's a great athlete, very good quarterback, and he has a knack of extending plays with his feet. And all of a sudden, one of the receivers breaks off into a scramble drill. Reniger takes off, he throws a pass to him, and next thing it's an 80-yard touchdown. You have him sacked in the backfield, and they come with a big play. Same thing happens. Merhan had a big play the same way against Tamaqua. Then you talk about Jacoby. He has the ability to take the distance in any play. We're going to make sure we don't get him started. If he gets a crease, we're in trouble. So we got to make sure we stay tight. We're really working on some things this week with preventing the big play on his part. And then thirdly, you mentioned Reniger. I don't know if there's a way to stop that kid.
Yeah.
6'6", every ball that's thrown high, he goes and gets. If it's low, he catches. So we did some different things this week, and we're excited about the challenge. I think our athletes and our secondary and our linebackers are excited about playing against kids that have multi-dimensional ability, and we'll see what happens on Friday night.
Yeah, also, 2 weeks ago, you were playing well, went up to North Schuylkill, kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit. You came back, and you responded. I mean, I think that's key to do. I think that shows a lot of perseverance on the fact of your offensive and defensive line. Just talk about some things you think they did differently last week that they didn't do up at North Schuylkill, maybe that they're going to take into this week now, knowing that you have a tough test in front of you.
We made plays.
Yeah.
It's simple to say that, but against North Schuylkill, the first 18 minutes of the game, we hit the ball inside the red zone, I think, twice, inside the 5-yard line once, and missed. We dropped 2 touchdown passes, and we cleaned those things up.
Yeah.
And credit to North Schuylkill, because they're an outstanding team. Mm-hmm. They're a great defensive team, and when they're on offense, we kind of broke down and did some things that we shouldn't have done, and they took advantage of it. Mm-hmm. Good teams do that.
Yeah.
And credit to North Schuylkill. Last week against Tamaqua, I thought we played a more complete game. Obviously, we played with emotion. If you know what the Red Swarm's all about.
Yes, yes.
You understand what we preach, because when you were there and everything else, we preach playing the game with excitement, emotion, and on that edge. And I think we definitely did that against Tamaqua, and we have to make sure we maintain that against Pottsville on the road and Lehigh in Week 10, and then whatever, if you get to the playoffs, whatever happens there. But our game defensively is built on so much playing emotional and excitable football and swarming to the ball and getting after it. We didn't do that against North Schuylkill, but against Tamaqua we did that. And I think when we do that defensively, it then triggers our offense to play the same exact way.
Yeah, and last thing, I know we kind of touched base on it before, but just lastly, just sum up what this is like. I mean, I don't know, you obviously know through your coaching career, I know in my coaching career, I didn't know I'd be coaching at half the places I ever coached
right,
at.
Sure.
I never saw myself coaching at Panther Valley or Tamaqua or Nativity. I mean, talk about your coaching career a little bit. You went from Marion and you came here and you just what you've learned over. I mean, you've been at Jim Thorpe for almost 20 years now.
Yeah,
and, yeah. So just talk about where you started, where you're at now, and now you're going back home again. And just talk about wanting to maybe avenge that 2004 loss a little bit, which I feel like every Jim Thorpe person that knows football still hurts from that loss.
I still go to bed at night time. I have the Pottsville DVD sitting on my dresser from 2004, the championship game. I haven't pulled it out and watched it yet, but it's sitting there. My wife yells at me all the time, "Well, we do something with this." But it's there. It's a memory. It is. Many great memories.
Yeah.
The 04 team was outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
That's your graduating year, and they couldn't ask for better kids and better players. The 07, 08 was actually your year, I'm sorry, I think, right?
No, I was 04.
04, right.
Yep.
Coach Brembo and his group.
It was 07,
07,
yeah.
08, right, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But, see, I'm dating myself, I'm losing things. But again, both teams were pretty similar, I think, in my mentality of how they played the game. but it's exciting. And going back to a couple of you mentioned about Marion.
Yeah.
First thing, I would extend my thoughts and prayers out to the Marion family and the Snur family. It's a great loss for them and for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Kenny Snur was a great person and an outstanding coach for many athletes in the Marion community.
Yeah.
And even here at Jim Thorpe, he coached
Oh, of course, yeah.
with the young kids. So, my condolences are out to that family and to Marion right now and their family, and wishing the best of luck, getting through this. But I saw that's a great place. Coach Acosta's a great coach, and I couldn't ask for a better person to get started with 21 years ago. And I had a couple of years with him, and then been at Jim Thorpe 18 or 19 years now. And I've been very blessed myself to have so many great coaches with me, working with me. Coach Miller right now, offensively, you couldn't ask for a better person. We work very well together. I get on him, he gets on me, back and forth. It's this give and take relationship. Coach Fremel right now, defensively helping organize and things there, and his intensity level he brings with us right now.
You have a lot of coaches that are still coaching around the area yet as well.
Absolutely. And the 2 Zern guys, you mentioned those guys, and they're always getting at it. And intensity there, and Coach Albert and Coach Allen are very fortunate from my perspective in my coaching time here at Jim Thorpe, and having such outstanding coaches with me. It makes my job a lot easier, and I'm fortunate for that. Again, looking forward to Friday night. Veterans Stadium in Pottsville is an outstanding place to play a football game. I was spoiled to play there many times. Marks Hall, you couldn't ask for a better venue for basketball fans.
Yeah.
So we're talking out to the Steidel Field to baseball. You couldn't ask a better place, a better town to go into to play a game. Looking forward to Friday night, and I hope our kids are excited, ready to play. And I know they are. We've had one of our better weeks of practice this week, so hopefully that transitions over to the game, and good things will happen Friday night.
Well, there you have it, folks. This is segment 2. And just a reminder, my bold prediction in the beginning of the year was that Rosenberger would take the Red Swarm up to Pottsville and win. So I think that's just the 0-4 and me speaking, hoping those guys can get an avenged loss. But that's it for this segment. We thank Coach Rosenberger for being here, and thank you for tuning in this week. And we'll catch you next week on Collegiate Football Thursday Night Tailgate.
Also, I want to too late.
Nope, you're good.
I also want to thank you guys for everything you do.
Of course.
To be able to watch this on Twitter, for Facebook, for people, it's excitement. And the players, I look forward to watching it, and the fans do as well. So thank you guys for just putting a little more limelight on high school football in the Coal Region.
Of course, that's what we're here for. Thanks a lot. Take care.